for joining us at noon. It is a weather impact alert day. We've already seen plenty of rain, and we're expecting to see powerful winds later today. So we start things off with meteorologist Rod Hill. Rod, walk us through what we can expect today.
Yeah, well, for starters, the wind advisory is now in effect from our friends at the Weather Service for the Valley, up and down I-5, Albany, all the way up into southwest Washington. We've already seen noticeable winds gusting to 30 plus, all tied to the strong low where you see that signature curled or comma shape offshore. So here's what the winds are doing right now. Well, wouldn't you know it? That gust map is empty once we join TV, but 30 minutes ago, that had wind gusts of about 30 miles per hour in several spots up and down the valley. There is a south wind right now gusting to 48 in Newport and south winds in Salem to 25. So not concerning yet, but noticeable and certainly along the central coast. So the coast wind warning now in play through tonight. Could be eventually some gusts as high as 70. The valley wind advisory all the way into tonight, now in play. Eventually strong gusts could reach as high as 45 to 50. And the strongest winds, both locations, will be this evening, although we're certainly starting to see the winds pick up. Heavy rain, see the yellow, that just blew by Portland not that long ago. And notice there is a lightning strike right there just south of Tillamook. So actually there is the threat of hearing some thunder this afternoon as well. You can see the camera in Lincoln City bouncing back and forth. Combined seas along the coast expected to go as high as 30 to 35 feet high. That's overnight tonight as that strong low gets closer and the winds pick up. That's our camera from Chinook Winds Casino Resort. This one's showing you the dark, ominous skies still in Lincoln County. This is the inn at Ottercrest, a little bit south of Lincoln City. All right, downtown Portland, we just had some heavy rain move through. We're at 49 degrees. Eventually we'll jump up into the 50s. Again, the strongest winds, south gusting 40 to 50, expected to pick up this evening. We'll track those winds with Futurecast coming up in my complete forecast.
Thank you, Rod. And all that rain means that there is some concern that our rivers could overflow. Ashley Grahams joins us live from the banks of the Clackamas River in Oregon City. So Ashley, how are things looking now?
Yeah, as Rod said, we saw some pretty heavy rain come through not that long ago. This rain just adding to an already rushing Clackamas River here as we are standing on the banks at Clackamas Park, and you can see from that boat ramp how high the river has moved up this morning. We talked to a couple people walking down here who came down to check it out. Early Monday morning, the Clackamas River was rising, carrying debris, including this tree, right past Clackamas Park in Oregon City.
I don't know, 10 feet less last night.
Debbie Russell says she's seen worse as the Clackamas Park RV host surveyed the water level.
That area floods more than this area, but this is pretty high.
The RV park is now closed, and Russell moved her rig last night.
And then the parks people came and got everybody out of the RV park.
While the rushing rivers never reached the RVs, signs warned people of the high water.
No, this is super high. There's definitely a lot of mud and a lot of silt in the water right now.
Habib Nomi walked along the river with his dog.
It's kind of fun to come and check it out.
Further down the Clackamas River at Carver Park, water lapped at the parking lot, leaving the boat ramp and part of the sidewalk underwater. Nomi's advice for anyone thinking about checking out the rivers today:
Look, but don't go in.
So while that flood warning is no longer in effect for the Clackamas River, the RV park is still closed. Oregon City saying it could be closed all the way through Friday. We'll continue to bring you the latest conditions here on KGW at 4, 5, and 6 tonight. China.
Ashley, thank you. And more updates on traffic impacts. PBOT announced this morning that Northwest Cornell Road and one lane on Thompson Road will be closed all day today. That's after this. A landslide just to the west of the intersection of Northwest Skyline Boulevard and Thompson Road. And then these photos are from the U.S. Forest Service showing heavy rainfall in the gorge. The pedestrian path at Multnomah Falls is washed out, as well as the access road to Eagle Creek Trailhead. So be very careful if you plan to spend any time there today. And ODOT says Highway 30 has reopened near Rowena. A landslide there over the weekend caused rockfall and debris on the road. The closure was between milepost 64 and 66. And we are keeping a close eye on closures and impacts following rainfall and strong wind like Rod was talking about. We'll have updates all day long on air and on our KGW Plus TV app, available on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. An update at noon in the St. Helens High School sex abuse scandal. A judge ruled today that Eric Stearns, one of the two teachers at the center of the scandal, will be held in jail until his trial. Stearns is facing a total of 18 charges of sexual abuse against 12 people. The scandal began with the arrest of Stearns and retired teacher Mark Collins in November following investigations into allegations of historic sexual abuse at St. Helens High School. The school board there officially fired Eric Stearns earlier this month. The trial date for his case has not been set. And an update to the man found dead inside a travel trailer in the Lents neighborhood last week. Police have now ruled the death as a homicide. They identified the man killed as 37-year-old Jeremiah McKenzie. The medical examiner determined McKenzie died by a gunshot wound. Police have not released any information about a possible suspect. Local nurses with the Oregon Nurses Association have until 4 o'clock today to vote on the latest contract proposal from Providence. The nurses have been on strike for the past 7 weeks now, and their union says the latest proposals include changes to staffing plans, plus major wage increases and retroactive pay.
Everyone's going to have to look at it and see how it measures up, the things we won, the things we didn't win, and see if they're willing to say yes.
It's better than our first TA. For sure, but still not what we really hoped for.
In a statement, Providence Chief Executive Jennifer Burrows said that, quote, Providence is hopeful that ONA represented nurses will ratify the tentative agreement that pave a solid path forward for all of us. If they do ratify the contract, nurses will return to work on Thursday. And now to the Trump administration's efforts to slash the federal workforce with an email to millions of employees causing confusion over the weekend, demanding they account for their work by midnight tonight. NBC's senior White House correspondent Garrett Hake has the latest.
Top Trump advisor Elon Musk is facing new resistance from inside the administration today over an ultimatum to more than 2 million federal workers delivered in an email from the Office of Personnel Management on Saturday. The email, titled "What Did You Do Last Week?" asked workers to respond by midnight tonight with 5 bullet points detailing what they accomplished. The move sparked widespread confusion, with agency heads issuing conflicting guidance to workers. Some agencies, including the FBI, State Department, and Defense Department, told employees either to delay responding or not respond at all, while others, like the Department of Health and Human Services, asked workers to respond by tonight's deadline. Compounding the chaos, Musk, posting on X, said he was acting on the president's instructions, adding, quote, failure to respond will be taken as a resignation, though the OPM email did not include that threat. Democrats blasting the email.
It's just another example that Trump and Musk have no idea what they're doing.
Some Republicans say they're skeptical about the directive.
I don't know how that's necessarily feasible. Obviously, a lot of federal employees are under a union contract.
At town halls across the country, growing outrage over Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency.
When are you going to wrest control as the Congress back from the executive and stop hurting your constituents?
President Trump, speaking at a conservative gathering on Saturday, defended Musk.
People said, well, what official position does he have? I said, Patriot.
It comes as one of the agencies targeted by Musk's DOJ, USAID, announcing yesterday that nearly all of its employees worldwide will be placed on administrative leave. 1,600 of those workers here in the U.S. will be laid off as part of a reduction in force. Exceptions were made in part for those working on, quote, mission-critical functions. It follows another major shakeup across the government, this time at the Pentagon, with President Trump firing the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General C.Q. Brown Jr., along with several top officers from the Navy and Air Force and top military lawyers.
The president deserves to pick his key national security and military advisory team.
That was Garrett Hake reporting from NBC News. And today, the Vatican announced the start of nighttime prayers for the health of Pope Francis. The 88-year-old is critically ill as he battles double pneumonia and onset of slight kidney failure. The Vatican says Pope Francis has shown a little bit of improvement in tests and has resumed some work activities. He's spending his 11th day in the hospital, equaling the longest hospital stay as the Pope. And news from NBC, longtime anchor Lester Holt announced that he would leave NBC Nightly News this summer after a decade of anchoring the national news show. He will continue to anchor Dateline. And about 6 years ago, Lester Holt made a stop at the Rose City and anchored an episode of Nightly News from here.
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. Good evening from the banks of the Willamette River on a postcard perfect day in Portland, the first stop on our trip across America. 5 cities and 5 days.
The network did not immediately name a successor to Holt's position.